Alrighty, and we are back here at BRL for Tier 4 here from Catalonia. Looks like we're going to have a couple more drivers in this race than we did the last time. It's been a crazy night, folks. I am certainly not doing what I anticipated doing. Normally, I just commentate Tier 3, and that's going to be it. But the last few weeks, I've been having to pull double duty and do both Tier 3 and Tier 4, which is cutting into my practice time. But it's okay. I got 2 straight days off on Wednesday and Thursday to practice for Monaco, so it's all good. And I'm already sub 1 minute 10, so we'll see what happens. I've only done like 5 laps. Anyway, so everybody's starting to ready up here. I'm still looking for my co-commentator in the lobby. He looks like he's in here. Where is he at? It is Saxman again here with me. Let me get him in the party here. And I think I got a little bit of a funny thing for him right here.
Sorry, I couldn't find Careless Whisper.
Not much, Saxman. You ready for some Tier 4 action here from the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia? Or Catalonia, Barcelona? Or whatever the hell it is. Well, yeah, it's a bit hard to overtake around here, but once you do, you usually take off and leave people because of the dirty air. That was my experience with Pirandi and Ginger on Saturday night. I don't know about you in Tier 2. Yeah, it was very... Yeah, towards the end of the race, we had the safety car. In case you missed it, folks, the Tier 1 no safety car streak is over. The streak is over. We had a safety car on Saturday night in Tier 1 here, unfortunately caused by B-Dunk. He will forever be now shamed as the man who broke the streak. That bunched the field back up. Top 2 cars on the restart, well, actually, no, 2 of the top 3 cars on the restart did not pit. That was Alan Hugo, who ended up 3rd, and DRC Jared, who ended 2nd. New Zealand Ryan pitted, came out behind his teammate in 2nd place on a fresh set of hards, and pretty much blew his doors off right off the restart to slip back a little bit towards him at the end. And then you had in 4th and 5th VSR Drolix and myself on a fresh set of softs as well, and we could do nothing with the at least 10 to 12 lap old hards of Hugo and Jared in front of us. So that just shows how hard it is to overtake around here, because it is such a fast track. There's really not a whole lot of slow corners to work with around here to really make the tires make a difference. And there's not a whole lot of room to begin with. So like the chicane, really hard to make that work. Anyway, here we are for qualifying. We're going to see who blinks first and goes out first. Going to be a bit of a mixed bag on strategies, I think, because we have seen that in every session so far this weekend. You got 3 pretty much primary strategies you can run here. You can run the soft or the hard. You have to stretch them out quite a ways, though, lap 10 or 11 to really make that work if the race stays green. You've also got the soft, medium. The 2-stop really going to lose you a lot of time, but you are going to be on those fresher tires. Question is, can you as a driver push hard enough and long enough to make it work and make up that time? It's very difficult to do without making a mistake here. And then finally, you have what most consider to be the preferred strategy of the medium to the hard. But the trade-off is you're going to be starting a little farther back in the pack. I've personally made that sacrifice on Saturday night. Started 12th, ended up in P6 after penalties. Hopefully that gets updated to P5. Fingers crossed. But anyway, looking down here at what we have got tonight, looks like we have got out on track Run the Jewels, first man out on track in the Renault on the medium tire, so he's wasting no time going for that medium tire run. Probably going to do this for a banker and maybe jump onto the softs at the end. Behind him, you have, well, actually, UFR Ardell's actually quite a ways ahead of him on the track, as is, I believe, Anterior Titan is first man on track in the Haas. So, Zaxman, who do you think is going to be the driver to watch tonight in qualifying around this track?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd say Ardell. He's trying to find a bit of redemption from last week. He caught himself in an incident, and so I know he'll be looking to set a quick lap and kind of get himself up off the grid. I'm also looking at Interior Titan. Really like the McLaren boys. They've been pretty quick. I think Echo could put a solid lap in tonight and get himself up towards the front part of the grid here from the start of the race.
I think you're right, but that all depends on the tire strategies these guys choose to employ. Like, for instance, Anterior Titan out there on the soft. However, Ardell's out there on the medium.
Yeah, I think the fast guys are going to want to try to see what kind of pace they can sit on this medium tire. It is a preferred strategy, as you said, and I think if these guys feel like they can get themselves in the top 5, top 6 and 7, they're willing to make that sacrifice of not getting pole or starting in the front row, knowing that they're on the preferred tire strategy, and at least have the options to play with if a safety car comes out.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's a trade-off between tire strategy and track position. I leaned a little bit too much towards the tire strategy on Saturday night, and it bit me quite a bit. I bungled the lap, my one good lap in qualifying, and started well below where I should have. That bit me pretty much all night long because the two guys who started in the front on the medium strategy, Jared and Drolix, by the time we got to the pit stop, I was crawling all over them. I was only 2 seconds back. And just think if I'd have qualified a little bit better on that medium tire, I could have maybe taken the fight to them. Rager retires from the session. Looks like he's come off at the exit of turn 8.
Very easy to do there.
Very easy to do. We're going to hop aboard with Anterior Titan, the current fast man right now, and we're going to see exactly where he has just absolutely looped it around and buried it in the wall on that left-hand side. Excuse me while I deal with a little furry terrorist climbing all over my Corvette picture on the wall. There's a Corvette right above my sim rig. Cat decided he was interested in it.
Now I'm bored with Run the Jewels right now. A little bit of a lock-up into turn number 5 right there. Super critical. You get a nice run down the hill here. It's a quick left and then a quick right. He loses his car and he's in the gravel pit.
Very easy to do on that corner. Lateral
So
grip,
unfortunate for Run the Jewels there.
Lateral grip in that corner is always wanting in a Formula 1 car, even.
Yeah, you got a quick change of direction there. If you take too much of the curb, it can unsettle the car. But it's a kind of a double-edged sword. You need to take as much curb as you can to get a nice exit uphill before that quick right-hander onto the back straightaway with DRS.
Indeed there. And you see on the stream there, Ardell taking that long way around the chicane there. That is actually, that's something I greatly miss about this track, how it used to be before they reprofiled that final sector a little bit. Was it used to be you had two basically flat-out right-hand corners to end the lap down the hill. And it really made that final corner a big challenge to carry as much speed as you could through there. Personally, I miss that. I actually still have the last Formula 1 game to feature that track configuration, which is F1 Championship Edition from 2007, using the 2006 season tracks. Let me tell you, I still pull the PS3 out every once in a while. I know we're on Xbox and I own a PS3, it's sacrilege. But I still go back on occasion and will just barrel down through there in an old Formula 1 car. I say old, 2006 wasn't really that long ago. I was 12, 13 years old at that point. Just an absolutely awe-inspiring experience to do that compared to what you have now.
Yeah, some drivers are a fan of the chicane, some not. I don't mind one way or another. I do like that Cody's did reprofile the chicane this year and got it right. Profile was very wrong in previous games. As we see Broken Reptile here, he goes purple sector 1 and 2, so he's on a bit of a quick lap here. Making his way through sector 3. Coming to that part of the track you were talking about. And they're going to dip off and take the chicane right here. Yes, it's just unfortunate, man. Some of these classic tracks that they have felt the need to reprofile. Some better, some for worse.
Yeah, I feel like I get why they did, because it's such a fast set of corners, but man, when you nailed it, you felt like Superman. Speaking of feeling like Superman right now, Broken Reptile, P2 on the mediums with a 16.4. He's got to feel pretty confident about that. There's a lot of cat and mousing going on up and down the grid, I feel like, in all the sessions here. It certainly was in Tier 1. A lot of guys setting very slow laps on the softs, just trying to draw other people out and maybe get them to waste some time, some tires, and maybe set a lap that was going to compromise their race strategy because they saw a bunch of people going for that. Personally, I might have pulled that. A little bit of mind games going on. As looks like he's going to pull over and let the car behind. That is one of the Alfa Romeos of, I believe that's ER10 Motorsports. Yep. The Raccoon on a tricycle.
Rage coming around. Come into the pits. Also on the medium tire. So it looks like we have quite a bit of a field deciding to opt for the medium tires. You always have to wonder if there's going to be a guy towards the back of the pack that's going to take a shot on the soft tire just to give himself a little bit of a different heads up. As back straightaway's really busy right now. A lot of traffic.
It is. It's very congested back there. Doesn't look like any of these guys are on a timed lap right now, though. So, only guy on one right now, I believe, is going to be Echo. There he goes. So he is coming down towards the end of his lap. He's going to pull into the pits. So I feel like he maybe feels like he got a little compromised right there by that traffic. So you got to be careful bunching up like that.
Yeah, ER10 Motorsports sitting parked on the track. When you do that, you run the risk of a disqualification.
Really
and if you don't, he's running the risk of starting his lap on pretty cold, soft tires. He's making his way on the penultimate corner now.
I was bringing that up because there were a couple guys who just about came to a stop in qualifying in Tier 3. Personally, folks, I've thought this for a long time. I think we need to make a rule against stopping on track. You need to keep the car at least above probably 50 Ks at all times. Because a car stopped on the track, it's just dangerous. Somebody spins out behind you off the exit of a corner like that, and you're just going to get clobbered into it. Speaking of cars spinning out, looks like we got Run the Jewels running kind of slowly there through the run from 5 to 7. No harm to Run the Jewels of the track.
Looks like he's invalidated his lap. ER10 Motorsport showing some pace and speed throughout the season so far. Hasn't been able to put it together. Really hoping he can get a nice result here tonight. He's on a decent lap. Probably trying to get a good banker lap. And he's down in 11th right now. Coming through Sector 3. Quick downhill right-hander into the chicane. He's running in a nice line. I like what I'm seeing.
He is. He's on the soft tire right now, so this should pick him up a good little bit of time. Let's see where he ends up. TK jumped up to second on the medium. He's going to pick up about 1.2 seconds. That's going to only jump him up 2 spots, though. And that is going to be a compromising position if nobody else improves, because he's in 10th place right now. So if he starts on that soft tire in 10th, I got to feel like that's his night pretty much done from the outset almost. Yeah, TK jumping up almost matching Anterior Titan on that medium tire, about a 1/10 and 3/4 back. So not very far for being on a harder compound tire.
Echo setting a pretty quick outlap here, trying to get some heat into these medium tires. It just seems like they do take about a lap and a half to come on into their kind of prime temperature range. Attempts these guys are going to be battling with is going to be in that left front tire. A lot of load, a lot of high-speed loaded corners. And so that'll be something I'll be watching tonight, is the degradation of the tires, especially that left front.
Indeed. I actually did something different with my setup this week. I ran a lot of camber around this track, and it really seemed to work. But the tires did seem to wear a little bit. But you know what? It really didn't seem to matter because I was able to keep the temperatures a little bit better managed, even though they were wearing more than they did without the camber. So maybe that's something that some of these guys have figured out as well. Personally, I was running about 3.3 degrees in the front and about 1.8 in the rear. So a lot of camber, almost full left, and it really seemed to settle the car down through some of these fast, long corners.
And the setup here is super critical. And, you know, these guys are going to want to look for stability in the rear of the car, but you also need a lot of front-end bites, some quick change of directions, and some of these tighter corners. You really need the car to rotate through some of these corners. As we see Echo come on the backstretch here, planted through that last corner. He's looking pretty good tonight.
Yeah, but he lifted through turn 9. That's not a corner you really want to lift through. You want to try and hold it flat, even on the medium, in qualifying. Down into turn 13. We saw a big incident here right with just a couple of laps to go in the Tier 3 race a moment ago. If you caught that between Marlin and Face Taste. Face Taste from behind. Marlin made a mistake out of turn 12 as Echo goes to P4 in the McLaren on those mediums. Good lap from him. Looks like the odd man out right now is going to be Interior Titan in that Haas, but he is going to be starting on pole. So he has got all the work to do right now. It looks like only 2 drivers have set a lap on the soft tire. Looks like Wrathful's out there on the soft as well. Maybe he can do something about that. We'll see what the Mercedes drivers can do. Runs it very wide through turn 3, not sucking it back down to the right-hand side on the exit of turn 3 to try and save a little bit of time. He has got Echo directly in front of him. Echo needing to get out of the way. Very awkward way of doing that. I would have much rather seen Echo pick up the pace a little bit and wait on that straightaway between 5 and 7.
Yeah, you have to be mindful of your track position, especially if you're coming off a lap and you're letting somebody else go by. Even if you think you're pulled off to the side, just your position can really throw off another driver who's on a quick lap. As we see Wrathful go purple sector 2, car's looking pretty good here on the soft tire, would you say, Ferrari?
It is, but he was in 6th gear all the way through turn 9. That's a 7th gear corner flat out, and he never lifted, so gotta think he's just over-revving the car a bit. Already out of ERS right there, you can see that. He's just letting those revs run out way too long. Only manages a 116.9, so that's going to put him P8 in front of Ardell and behind Like Me or Not. Gotta think he's just over-revving the car right now. These cars are not efficient on the engine revs past about 11.8, 11.9. So you really, as soon as it starts blinking, you want to just bang up the next gear. And really not try to waste all the momentum that you're losing once you do that, because the car basically noses over and just will not accelerate much quicker at that point. And I think that's also causing him to burn more ERS, which is why he ran out off that final corner. Usually I'm seeing guys run out right as they get to the line, maybe a couple hundred feet before, but he ran out full on out of the final chicane.
Yeah, it's going to cost him a lot of time. You need that ERS, and a depleted battery is not going to allow you to carry the speed through that penultimate corner onto the front straightaway to cross the line. It can cost you a couple tenths.
It can. Big Hairy Jock retiring from the session. Gonna give Webster another little shout out here with Big Hairy Jock.
Big Hairy Jock, his boy. Big Hairy Jock, I think, got caught up in an incident last week, if I remember correctly. So
yeah,
we'll
I think
to
he
see
did.
if he can recover
Something
from that.
happened.
Yeah,
Currently
solid.
still in P10, so
He's looking probably for a little bit of a recovery drive tonight, as we see Phantom coming around through turn 7 and 8, and he's going to invalidate, unfortunately, the tire.
ooh. Hopefully he's got enough fuel in the car for another run. He needs to turn that ERS off so he can recharge the battery a little bit. The boy Phantom here did just get a wheel, so he should be starting to work on that. Usually, man, let me tell you, when I got my wheel, it was about a year and a half ago now, roughly, that I got that wheel. Maybe a little bit less than that, but man, it took me a good probably 3-4 months to get really just acquainted with it and comfortable to where I was kind of back to where I was on the controller. Obviously, on the controller, I was really, really quick back in the day. You know, this was like season 1 and season 2 of PRL. So we're talking a long way back as Interior Titan retires. Looks like he's hit the wall off the exit of turn 9. No. Oh no, that is just not good for the Haas driver. We're going to go on board with Ardell. And yep, he just absolutely clobbered that right-hand wall. I think he ripped the whole right side of the car off doing that. And looks like we got a bit of a conga line there forming at the start of Sector 2 with Milk, Wrathful, Jules, and who is that behind him? I think that is going to be Ardell. Nope, that is... Yeah. That's Exia actually behind at the back of this group. So Exia running the tail end of the conga line right here.
Oh, we see a bit of an incident with Ardell.
Sainz!
10 signs. Yikes. And Ardell's going to have to make a dive for the pits there to replace his front wing. Bit awkward. The camera angle didn't allow me to see what happened.
Yep, that's going to be Ardell's session over. Let's see who is out there on a hot lap. Looks like Reptile's out there on the soft. He's only about 3/10 down on pole position right now. Let's see if the McLaren driver can slap it up on the top of the timing board here. Yellow flag in Sector 3. Got a car stopped towards the top of the hill.
Hopefully those guys get it sorted out.
Oh,
and he's lost it on the curb.
He has spun out. Oh, no. No. Oh, son, what are you doing? What are you doing? TK out there also on the soft, looking to pick up that one extra spot. If I was TK, I would just abandon this lap. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? You're sitting second on the mediums. Why?
Oh, we see Wrathful. He loses it coming out of turn 4, right in front of the other Red Bull of Exia and Run the Jewels. Wow, Exia almost getting caught up in Wrathful's spin there as he lost it coming out of turn 4. Very easy for the car to kind of lose the rear of the car, and that's exactly what he did. He got a little wide, dipped the wheel off into the grass and lost it, so he's just off on the inside there. As we see Exia's down the backstretch, DRS rear wing open. He goes purple sector 2. So he's on a bit of a lap here, trying to close out qualification for our race here tonight. See Run the Jewels right behind him, picking up some dirty air potentially, as Run the Jewels has invalidated his lap.
All right, what's Exia going to be able to do? What's TK going to do? Is TK going to finish that lap, or is he just out there for insurance? Exia is going to jump up to pole position for the moment. TK is going to continue. He's going to go into the pits. So TK saying, yep, nope, third's good enough for me. I'm good. Only 3/10 top spots. So
he's going to take the option of probably starting on the medium
P3. Tire. Sergeant Milk to P3. My co-com from T3 tonight goes to P3 to start his race in the Racing Point. Good to see a pink car somewhere towards the front of the grid this weekend. God knows Deer Hunter and I both weren't. So, I believe that is going to be your starting order. BRL Exia, the head admin, getting pole position for Tier 4. A good job to him. Only man in the sub 116s, followed by Interior Titan, who retired from the session with a big crash at the top of the hill at turn 9. Sergeant Milk jumping up to third at the death there in the Racing Point, and TK the first man on the medium tire, followed by both of the McLarens. You were talking about it, those McLarens, 5th and 6th, Broken Reptile and Echo on the medium, not too far behind TK pace-wise. So I think those three guys are going to be sitting pretty because they're not that far off the top and they're on a much better tire for the race. So we'll see what these front three can do in the opening laps. If they don't get caught up fighting each other, I think they maybe can pull away a little bit. Hopefully build a little bit of a gap and then get that undercut with that new hard tire for a few laps while the guys who start on the mediums are still out there running around on the tire they started the race on.
Yeah, talked to TK a little bit earlier this weekend. He's looking for a strong performance. He's been a little disappointed in how all the races have worked out and spanned out for him here in BRL. So I'm looking at TK tonight to maybe put a solid finish together, potential podium. He'll just have to wait and see how the top guys play that tire strategy that we talked about tonight earlier.
Indeed, I'm looking down the grid here. P9, Wrathful with that unsuccessful second attempt at a soft lap is going to start the race on the soft tire in P9. So he is going to have to start on a used set of tires. Ardell with a 5-second grid penalty, as well as Sainz. That's not going to do either one of them any favors to start this race. I got to believe that will be looked at after the race, and somebody's going to get a big slap on the wrist for that, maybe a little more.
Yeah, it was a bit clumsy. Unfortunate to see Ardell's session end early. He needed to get a better lap in. Still down there starting P9 with the 5th-place grid penalty. Big Harry Jock getting a solid 12th place start. I know if Webster's watching, that's his guy. Hopefully we see him finish the race tonight in a good top 10 finishing position.
All right, Saxman, so what is your pair of drivers, A, to win the race, and B, who's the one to watch? Who you think is going to shake up the order a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great question. I like TK. He's positioned nicely there on the medium tire. If he just keeps his nose clean, lets those front runners, they're going to get away from him at the start, but that's okay because they're going to have to come in. And if we don't have a safety car, he'll be in prime position to have clean air and open up a bit of a gap. And I'm really watching the McLaren drivers. They didn't quite get it done last week. They had a great outing at China, so I'm looking to see the likes of Echo and Reptile have a solid finish tonight.
I'm kind of with you there on TK. He has looked like he's put himself in the perfect position just off that front row. If he gets a good start, he might even jump one of the two guys in front of him, or both of them if they both get very bad starts. Not likely, though, considering they're on the soft tire, and they'll get much better grip off of the line. But he is sitting very, very well positioned, as are the two McLarens just behind him. I think my guy to watch right now is going to be Ardell, because here's what I would do if I was UFR Ardell. I already know that I'm going to be starting P15 in this race out of 17 drivers. I'm literally starting just off the back row of the grid. Why not slap on the hard tire and just send it? I mean, what have you got to lose at this point?
He really doesn't, and I think Ardell, he's had pace all year long, so for him to be able to start on that hard tire and potentially even make up places is a very realistic probability. And then he has that option to either slap on the mediums or play the soft strategy at the end and maybe even pick up an extra point for the quickest lap if he finds his way kind of in the middle of the pack and just keep that championship fight and points order in line for what we've been seeing from him.
Indeed, I think it's got to be a little bit about damage control for the Red Bull driver tonight. He has done very well this season so far. We're just waiting on somebody to ready up. I believe that's going to be Exia, who is the tier coordinator down here in Tier 4. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Spain, usually very interesting place. Actually, Raffle first one ready up, so I'm guessing he's the tier coordinator. I don't know who the tier coordinator is down here. I just commentate the thing. If I sound a bit like a squirrel on cocaine, it's Dark Horse.
Dark Horse, I'm going to give him my pipe. We haven't really talked about him tonight. He's been quick all season long. He's up there fighting for that championship with Ardell. I got to watch him in action in a different league, and he was very, very quick. So I think Give Me My Pipe's my Dark Horse. Late Dark Horse, but I'm going with him tonight. Starting in 7th.
He is starting P7, so good position. We'll see what he can do from there. Give you a good look at what everybody is starting on. And UFR Rage, with Ardell getting that penalty, gets a free choice of tire in P10. So actually, Ardell might not have got a free choice of tire because he did qualify in the top 10.
Oh, possibly still starting on the medium tire. I think that's a safe choice. You know,
it's still a safe bet. He can make that work. I mean, I started P12 and managed to get myself. I could have, if I just played my cards a little better, I could have walked away with P2 on Saturday night from 12th. So it just goes to show that that is not entirely an unviable strategy to pick up a lot of places if you got the pace, and he certainly does have the pace.
He does, and if there's anybody that can make that work, it's Ardell. He's a very aggressive overtaker, so you kind of need that mentality coming through the field here at Spain. Dirty air, always a factor, and a lot of racing time to go, but it just seems like sometimes the laps run out here, so Ardell probably needs to be a little bit more aggressive. So I think medium tire choice makes sense here. And I want to point out, UFR Rage, starting in P10, but he's the hard tire. He's on the hard tire. Looks like he's the only driver to start there on the hard tire as well.
I think he is going to probably be the guy, maybe to watch towards the middle part of the race to maybe just kind of pick up a few spots here and there as those mediums start to give up just a little bit. So we got the front 3 on the soft. We got Wrathful on the soft in 9th, and we have starting P16 due to the fact that T.S. Sainz in the other Williams picked up a 5-place grid penalty for his incident with Ardell. Rager's going to start 16th on the soft tire, so interesting tire choice at the back there, maybe hoping to get out of that dirty air with the pack, maybe pick up a few early places due to the tires, and then drop back out of the pack and just run his own race. Not a bad strategy around here, because dirty air and being stuck behind somebody loses you a lot of time at this place.
Would you take the soft tire maybe 5 laps and go for a massive undercut? if you're a guy
I
in the
would.
back?
That's pushing it. I think maybe do like lap 8 or 9 if you really want to go for that one stop to the hard. Anyway, 5 lights are on here, and lights out and away we go here in Spain. Wait for the camera to change. Everybody gets a pretty clean start.
Oh,
no
we see
accidents.
Red Bull off the grass there.
Yep, Red Bull off in the grass. The other Red Bull leading the race. 3 wide for second as TK makes a little bit of contact. They're 3 wide for second still, and looks like Sergeant Milk taken to the escape road, and TK's off in the dirt. Oh no, TK right down to the bottom of the field. That is unfortunate. A lot of guys running wide through the exit of turn 3 there.
Raffle getting a tremendous start. Got his elbows out. A little bit of wheel banging there, but he finds his way in P3. So what a start for Raffle.
My boy Raffle up 6 positions right now in that Mercedes, showing that he just does not belong down there where he started. That is a brilliant. Heck, I thought I got a good start in Tier 1 picking up 2 spots. This man just picked up 6.
And UFR Rage on the harder tire would not believe it. He's up 3 positions into P7. So usually that hard tire is a little bit slow off the line, but he's making it work for him as he works up to the back of Echo.
Oh no.
Echo, a little bit of contact there.
Oh, speaking of the McLarens, broken reptile with a broken wing, sitting down in P10 right now, missing the right front end plate. That is just horrible for him. There you see predicted pit stop strategy. Lap 13-15 for that first stop on both for the medium. Not really sure why that is. Reptile jumping into the pits to get that damage fixed right off the bat.
We see test signs with the broken wings too.
Is Big Hairy Jock? No, he's not. That's out of position. Something is up with the, the order's not right there. So, we will allow that to sort itself out. The one man that is where he's supposed to be on that chart is, well, it was BRL Exia, as now it sorts back out. Inferior Titan just behind him in the Haas. This man's been very good in the race. Didn't quite have the qualifying maybe he wanted to.
Test Sign's really struggling down the order right now. Picked up a bit of wing damage. He's currently holding up ER10 Motorsport TK14, who's closed up to the back of them after getting a poor start and getting run wide, finding himself off the track. So these guys are not going uphill into turn number 9 right now. Unfortunate start for
TK's got to be a little careful. He's got to be a little careful with these guys because they're going to be braking a bit earlier than he is probably. And tell me you saw that.
I saw a little bit of something
on the Discord. I'm not sure. That was weird.
So we see Exia set of 120.1. So Exia really setting the pace here to kick off the first 3 laps. The Red Bull being chased closely by Interior Titan as Red Bull driver runs a bit wide coming out of turn number 1. This is going to allow Interior Titan to close back up to him just down at 10th. Interior Titan runs wide. Is he going to take a look? No, he's going to settle in. Looks like coming into sector number 2. And really Raffle getting a huge start up against 6 spots. Just watching this unfold in front of him. Maybe waiting for these guys to maybe make a mistake or come together for him to capitalize on that.
Just a little bit. Boy, wouldn't that be an impressive start to go from 9th to 1st. That would set him up quite well as Milk now picks up a time penalty behind him in the racing point. Or the tracing point or pink Mercedes, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it the racing point just because I got to drive the thing and I don't like embarrassing names for the car I drive.
Give me my pipe,
Mind
up
you.
2 spots. He's going to be our first driver on the medium tire, followed by Echo. I think those guys are sitting in prime position, and Uniform Rage showing tremendous pace through the first few laps here on the harder tire. You would think that these guys would be driving away from him and he'd get swallowed up, but that's not the case as he runs a bit deep into the chicane here. Hops curve, takes a little bit of exit curve. This is going to allow Phantom to get a nice run and exit out of the corner.
And
DRS is open.
There goes the DRS.
Yep.
And he's just going to steam past that Ferrari, as is UFR Ardell.
Ardell up
Past
quite
his,
a bit as well.
Yeah, Ardell right now just on a charge through the field. He is not wasting any time. Kept it clean on that opening lap, picked up a lot of spots, and he's up to P8 right now, looking to dispatch Phantom in front of him very shortly. Does not want to spend too much time behind that Mercedes because there's about a 2-second gap up to the cars in front, which after a few laps is not really that much.
Yeah, and it's hard to make up time here. especially amongst the fastest drivers in the grid. Ardell up 6 spots. Phantom also a big winner on that race start, picking up 5 places as we see Ardell take a little bit of exit curve. As they swing back onto the back straightaway here, coming through turn number 9. Tremendous opportunity if you get it right to get a run on the guy coming into the slow hairpin left-hander of turn number 10.
Indeed. Everybody except for that gap from Phantom to Echo pretty well spaced out. About a half second between every car. As Rathel gets a little bit of a slide on there through turn 13, not too much. Stays right tucked up behind those front 2 cars. This is just impressive out of all these guys to be this close to each other after 4 laps of this circuit. The top 6 cars are separated by, let me change the interval height for a second. Top 6 cars are separated by 2.7 seconds. And the back 2 of them are on mediums.
We saw a bit of this in the Division 2 race where just a group of 4 or 5 guys could not get away from each other. And you just have to be careful that you don't pick up any front wing damage or make any contact that's going to send you off the track and cost you a ton of time and positions.
Exactly. That's kind of how it felt at the start of the Tier 1 race. Everybody just tucked up behind each other. Guys on the soft starting to burn out a little bit. Guys on the mediums not really able to make passes too easily early on. It led to some contact from a couple of drivers and some people spinning off. And some races getting just absolutely ruined. Whoa! Echo picking up a time penalty right there and getting very squirrely off turn 9. Keeps it pointed the right direction, though. That right there was a massive moment for the McLaren driver.
Yeah, even with this moment, he continued to open up time to the BRL Phantom, who's now 3 seconds adrift and losing time every bit of this track. Ardell showing a bit of frustration. He took a little bit too much of the curve going through turn number 7. And just gotta be careful.
Eggsy is in the pits. Eggsy is in the pits. First man to hit the pit lane.
Lap 6 into lap 5 is we see Ardell's going to get DRS and he's going to make a move on Phantom. This is going to help him because he needed to get around quickly. He was losing a ton of time to the McLaren driver Echo up in P5.
Boy, what a story it would be if Ardell can drive his way all the way back to the field, and if Eggsy can hold on to the position he had before he went into the pits there. That would be absolutely monumental for those guys to have that kind of performance every night.
Exia with the tall order now puts on the hard tire. He's going to have to go just a hair over 26 laps on this hard tire. That's going to be pretty tough, but we posed the question. It is doable.
I think it's doable as Milk picks up another time penalty. So especially if people start doing that and he keeps his nose clean, running his own race back there currently in 15th, about 6 seconds behind the next car.
Going to be
it's
clean
definitely
air.
Doable, but those tires are not going to be happy by the end of the race. That's for certain, though.
Yeah, but he's in clean air, and it's a little squirrely there. If he keeps it in clean air and just takes it easy, he can manage the tire jag.
And Interior Titan has spun in Sector 3. He's waiting at the exit of Turn 12 to rejoin.
Hopefully doesn't bring out a safety car or anything like that. That would be
No,
unfortunate
he's
for
back rolling.
Exia.
He's back rolling just in front of Test Science in P13, but man, went from leading.
He's
went from leading the race. He went from leading the race all the way to the back. That is just, and gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Insult to injury. It is insult to injury for the Haas driver, just losing his head a little bit right here.
Yeah, some of these soft tire drivers opting to come in a bit early. We posed the question right before the start of the race if anybody would try to come in on lap 5 or 6, and we are definitely seeing that. Rager, the only other driver out there on the soft tire still, slotted in behind TK14, who's still trying to work his way back up from an unfortunate event at the start of the race that saw him off track and falling down the order quickly.
Indeed, BRL Phantom picks up a 3-second time penalty. Wrathful and Sergeant Milk both coming out of the pits on the medium tire. Wrathful right on the back of Exia. Got to imagine he's going to want to dispatch with that Red Bull very quickly.
And Big Hairy Jock got a tremendous run on Like Me or Not. Like Me or Not sending up the inside, though. Braked really late and a bit of contact with Big Hairy Jock. Hopefully he didn't pick up any wing damage. Does not look like it, but a little bit naughty from Like Me or Not to send it in deep on him after Big Hairy Jock had the pass pretty much completed on him.
Yeah, that's a pretty ballsy move, to say the least. UFR Ardell sets the fast lap of the race on that medium tire at a 119.8. He is currently in P3 as Echo is making a move on Get Me My Pipe into turn 1, makes it stick. So the McLaren driver now out front in front of the Williams, with UFR Ardell rapidly closing down on both of them.
And like Me or
You gotta
Not
think
makes a move on the outside of Phantom going into turn 1 at the end of the DRS straight. Beautiful move by Like Me or Not, but this is going to allow Big Harry Jock, who's close up behind Phantom. Phantom here looks to be struggling for pace on this medium tire, only 7 laps in. Looking to see if Big Harry Jock can get around him and start making a move on Like Me or Not again.
Indeed. Meanwhile, the man running around on the hard tire since the start of the race, UFR Rage, currently down in P7 as Ardell picks up a 3-second time penalty, sitting there in P3. Not going to help his chances at all right there doing that. Get Me My Pipe still right behind the leader Echo. Exia closing up on Test Science for P11 on the track right now. That is going to be for position, although Science has not pitted and Exia has. Exia is going to want to clear Test Science extremely quickly down this front straightaway.
Yeah, and this is the
He's gonna be able to
downside
do
of
it.
stopping so early, is that you can find yourself at the back of the pack on fresher hards, making
Really
a ton of
can.
time, and you can get stuck behind some of these, as we see Test Science pull the inside. Very, very nice fair move there. Huge props to Test
Good
Science for doing
sports.
that.
Good sportsmanship. He's actually got some wing damage, so probably not wanting to hold Ardell up, or Exia up, sorry, more than he really has to there, knowing that he's suffering a little bit right now. But that's going to put Exia in front of, as Rager hits the pits now, the last man on the sauce. He's going to get in there and get out of him. Milk and Wrathful. It looks like Sergeant Milk's gotten around Wrathful. Wrathful maybe made a little mistake that lap. They are now behind Test Science as Exia just pulls farther and farther away on those hards. That's not doing them any favors.
Yeah, as we find ourselves, looks like Run the Jewels has made a move on UFR Rage, and 2 Ferrari drivers now trying to keep pace with the banana mode of Run the Jewels. He's had a pretty quiet race so far, Run the Jewels has. Slowly working his way back to the top. He looks like he's doing a great job, and TK is going to want to get around his Ferrari teammate as quickly as possible.
Big Harry Jock looking at Phantom, not going to do it there. Meanwhile, back up at the front.
And Big Harry Jock and Phantom battling is going to allow this group to Run the Jewels and the 2 Ferrari drivers to catch up here. So we can find ourselves here with a 6-car battle here for, looks like, fifth position.
It could. Looks like Phantom gets a better exit out of the final corner. Ardell and Get Me My Pipe both closing down on Echo because they have the DRS. Get Me My Pipe's going to go to the outside, going to sweep past the McLaren into turn 1, and these guys are just trading the lead back and forth. This is doing nothing but slowing them down. Oh, big twitch there from Get Me My Pipe.
Yeah, it looks like Echo got in the back of Get Me My Pipe. A little bit dirty there. Let's keep it clean, boys. We don't want to cause an incident or lose the front wing.
I think Pipe got a little bit of a twitch there on the throttle on his own, and Echo very lucky not to end up in the gearbox of the Williams.
As we see Ardell just getting a front row view of the leaders here battling out. Give Me My Pipe and Echo. Oh, as we see Ardell get a little
big slide.
Yeah. This is going to cost him some time as we see the leaders make their way through turn number 9. Is Echo going to be able to make the move? He's too far back, it looks like. Even with DRS open, he's going to slot back in behind Get Me My Pipe and make a bid for it on the front stretch, I imagine.
Indeed. If you're Ardell, this is absolutely the worst thing you want to see, is these two constantly trading spots back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like this, because that's just slowing you down. Because if you can get them on their own, you can dispatch them fairly quickly if you're even just a little bit quicker. But if they're together, it's very difficult to even get by one of them, let alone both of them.
Get Me My Pipe sends 2 wheels off track, makes a bit of dirt. Echo's going to have to run down the front stretch. DRS is open. He has no overtake engaged, but he gets the job done clean, fair, and square. As we see, Get Me My Pipe battle a little bit back on the outside there, but Echo making the clean move now ahead through turn 2 and into turn 3.
TK gets back by Run the Jewels. It looks like down the front straightaway, going to get a little bit of clean air on the nose of that first of the 2 Ferraris. His teammate still just behind the Renault. Runs a little wide through the exit of turn 3. Looking back up at this top 3, Ardell showing the nose a little bit to Get Me My Pipe there down to turn 5, not making a move, just kind of letting him know, hey, I'm here and you're kind of in the way, so maybe let me by and let me deal with this guy and open the door for you.
Yeah, Ardell just needs to stay patient here. These are the leaders. As we see, Exia is working his way through the field, but he's going to lose a bit of time and is going to be struggling on the older hard tire. So these guys just need to keep it clean. And Ardell will be in a good position here, it looks like, for maybe a potential podium finish.
Indeed, but does maybe Ardell want to duck in a lap or so early, maybe on lap 13 or lap 12, try to undercut these two?
If he does that, he's going to find himself potentially right behind Phantom. It'd be a good opportunity for him to get the undercut and find some bit of clean air and get that job done on Echo and get me my pipe. So yeah, it has to be something he's thinking about.
And again, we've seen this lap after lap after lap, these two trading position down to turn 1. As Ardell now picks up a second time penalty, he's got to just lay off, let these guys sort it out, and then pick them off one at a time.
Yeah, Ardell could quickly
now
find
Sargent.
himself falling down the order as he crosses the line. We have seen that in some of these other races where guys will get what could be a good finish and then get dropped down the order due to time penalties. So we see Sergeant Milk pick up another 3-second time penalty.
Right. And Interior Titan now at the back of the field here in 16th, sets fastest lap of the race at a 1:19.4. Not going to get the extra point if you're outside of the top 10. That's the one stipulation. You've got to at least score points to get that extra point.
And we missed it, but big hairy job making his way around Phantom. It's going to allow him to close up behind the Like Me or Not, get on the gearbox of that AlphaTauri, making some good race pace through the middle part of this race right now as Big Hairy Jock tries to make his way around Like Me or Not. Showing tremendous pace.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news for these three right now, but don't look in the mirror because all you're going to hear is dun 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 dun.
Yeah, TK working his way back through the field here. He has to be happy with this drive. I know he's probably a bit frustrated, but if he keeps his head down, he can recover for a nice finish here tonight.
It's not entirely out of the question he could end up on the podium with how tonight's race is going. He's only about 6 or 7 seconds behind Like Me or Not, currently running around in third net right now, or actual right now. BRL Exia currently P10 is about. Oh, and Milk spins it around.
Oh, yikes, and he's sitting there on the track there.
Loops it around, doesn't reverse onto the track. Good boy there. Does a very nice job of getting it pointed.
Making his way out of the pits there as he made his way around Sergeant Milk. So he's on a hard tire now, sitting in 11th, right behind Wrathful. So he kind of finds himself back where he was. Surprised Wrathful hasn't made up more time on that medium tire there.
I know, he just doesn't seem to really have
we see
pace on
Run the
the
Jewels
here.
try to make the move on BRL Phantom on the outside, coming into the hairpin. TK up to 5th place now. Run the Jewels just trying to follow the Ferrari driver up through the field here as they make their way around Sector 3. Rage still hanging in there in the pocket with those hard tires.
Tell you what, TK right now, he can look, he can see Big Hairy Jock just about 2 seconds ahead of him, and then a little bit further down the road. Yep, Like Me or Not and Phantom both into
and Ardell.
Pits. And Ardell, so the top 3 guys all into the pits. Interior Titan, another time penalty there. So that's not helping him. Interior TK gonna run a little bit long here. Rage gonna run a little bit longer on that hard tire. So
and
TK
look at this
now
massive,
is like, okay.
Massive undercut by Exia on these guys. He has about a 1.5-second gap over Echo, but it's a ways down the order to Wrathful, Ardell, and Like Me or Not.
Well, not really, because Wrathful is only about 2 seconds back. Ardell's only about 3 seconds back. And let me tell you, from being the guy who did exactly what Ardell has done right here, pit at the end of lap 13 or 14, let me tell you, that 7-lap difference makes a big difference, because when you got me overtaking the likes of BRL Pirandi and Ginger Horizon, once they get split up like they're sitting still, you know it's a big difference in the tire deg.
Yeah, coming in on lap 5 was, you have to wonder how much he was really struggling on those soft tires. As we see Get Me in My Pipe make a dive for the pit lane here, trying to cover up the guys behind him. But we have to wonder how much tire deg and where was Exia struggling with it. Could he have maybe gone a couple laps to give himself a better advantage here towards the end of the race?
Rage making a move on Jules. This is for the current lead of the race right here. Down to T1, gonna make that very easily with DRS. So now Rage on that hard tire leading the race. Exia up to 3rd in the Red Bull, and look in the background there, his teammate making a move on Wrathful for P5 right now. That is going to be net P3 at the moment, right behind Echo.
We see Big Hairy Jock jump, Get Me My Pipe in the pit lane. Get Me My Pipe looks to be serving a bit of a time penalty there. Going to jump out right for the AlphaTauri driver, like me or not. So Big Hairy Jock coming out the winner down here towards the back of the midfield for that fight for 7th, 8th, and 9th place positions.
Yeah, man, look at this gaggle of cars. You got Big Hairy Jock, Get Me My Pipe, Like Me or Not, TK, Phantom, and Sergeant Milk. And then not too far behind them, ER10 Motorsports, who is still on the tires he started the race on, and Anterior Titan making a bit of a recovery drive in the Haas. Really all covered by about 5 or 6 seconds. Not a whole lot of time between all these guys.
And Wrathful on the medium tire. I find that choice very interesting. He's going to have to stop again. Should move all these guys up behind him at one position. We'll have to see how this strategy plays out for him. He's not making up a whole lot of ground on the guys in front who are on fresh hard tires. So he's going to kind of maybe find himself off in no man's land with the strategy he's picked tonight. We see Ardell go fastest, 119 flat. Nice lap by Ardell.
Indeed. Run the Jewels hits the pit lane. So that's going to elevate these guys another spot. So Exia and Ardell now running 2nd and 3rd with just UFR Rage out there on those 15-lap-old hards from the start of the race in front of them. These guys, as Ardell has gotten around Echo as well for what is effectively P2 in the race. So Red Bulls 1 and 2. Kind of fitting that we're in Spain and the Bulls are leading.
Yeah, Exia and Ardell showing great race pace all season long. Ardell's going to want to work his way back up to his teammate, but he has to make it move pretty quickly. He's contending with at least 6 seconds of time penalties. Currently, he may pick up a few more, we don't know. But if he has any hopes of winning this race tonight, he's going to have to make it by his teammate fairly quickly and open up a tremendous gap to 2nd position there.
He does indeed. First thing he's got to do, though, he's got to break that DRS to Echo and drop the McLaren off the back of his car because he doesn't want to drag him up to his teammate. Looks like he's just about done that. Maybe next lap he'll have him completely cleared. Not quite going to have DRS on his teammate himself, so he's going to possibly have to contend with Echo getting a little bit closer down the straightaway. You really want to be within about half a second to really think about making a move here. As we got
Big Hairy Jock
Sector 3.
He takes a bit of exit curve coming out of the chicane and he loops it. Oh, Big Hairy Jock, that's tough. He's now sitting on the track.
And he's going to head to the pit lane here.
No,
he's going to cross back onto the track.
Oh, yikes. Big Hairy Jock coming out with a big loss there. He was doing so well. Get Me My Pipe and just made it around him. It looked like he was trying to settle in and just kind of get his head down for the second half of this race and loses it a bit, which allows TK to open up a bit of a gap to, looks like Sergeant Milk behind him, but TK working up now behind Like Me or Not with one last driver to contend with.
Indeed, TK closing up on Get Me My Pipe and Like Me or Not. I believe he is going to probably dispatch both of those drivers unless Like Me or Not can get within DRS range of the car ahead. I got to feel like he's going to dispatch both these guys very quickly. We have seen that Ferrari on the move tonight.
Yeah, TK passing a lot of cars tonight. He's kept it fairly clean. It's a little squirrely there. Easy to do that. Coming over that hump car, the rear car wants to come unloaded and can cause a bit of oversteer. And we have seen drivers lose it there. We saw a bit of action there in the Tier 2 race with the guys getting caught out by that quick left-hander.
Yep, you know what my method to not spin out or get loose there is?
Don't take the curve.
Oh, speaking of getting loose, as Phantom!
Oh, yikes.
Oh, no!
Phantom off track. Doesn't look like he's picked up any damage, though.
No, it doesn't really look like he's picked up any damage, but not good for him. Not what he's wanting. Oh, and speaking of guys getting sideways, Like Me or Not just fenced it.
Oh, no.
Hard.
Yeah, he's parked there.
Missing a bit of the wing. Yep, he's going to have to wait for a gap as his teammate's going to come by here, Formula Rager, as well as Big Hairy Jock, and now he's going to have a gap big enough to turn around in pretty safely. So, unfortunately, getting very sideways. TK so lucky to not get caught up behind the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, TK now just has to get up to Get Me My Pipe. It's working out for TK. He's not having to make these moves on track. He's just not trying to make mistakes like his contenders are. And it's working out pretty good for him so far, as we see Wrathful's kind of off on his own there, and then a big gap down to Get Me My Pipe, TK, Sergeant Milk, and Run the Jewels with Interior Titan hot on his gearbox right now as they make their way through Sector 3.
Indeed. So the guys that TK really needs to be focused on catching up to are Echo, Ardell, and Exia, because those are the guys that are going to the end of the race. He should gain quite a bit on the end of the race on Exia. Speaking of, look at the Red Bulls. They're going side by side, and look at that. We got 3 cars fighting over second right now. He's going to go a long way around, or try to, on Exia. Exia really not having a good time right now. His teammate just blitzed him, and now he's got a McLaren crawling all over him through Sector 2.
Oh, and Exia's going to take a poor entry into the turn, but he's going to park it on the apex and defend nicely against Echo.
That's what you got to do here if you're on the inside. You just got to make sure to not overshoot that corner, not give that guy an opportunity for a cutback.
None of these guys have any ERS left. Ardell sitting up there at P2 now, net P1 with 8%, Exia with 14-15. It looks like he's going to let Echo by. Ooh. Interesting. But Echo,
he mounted the curb.
22%. Yeah, lost a bit of time getting out of there to catch that slide.
Really did. So now Exia is in dirty air. That's going to make his car go even slower.
Yeah, Exia on 12-lap old hard tires. Another 5 or so laps, and we'll start to see the effects of tire wear on those hard tires start to take grapple of that Red Bull as he begins to struggle with tire grip and just overall tire management.
All right, so the man currently leading the race in the Ferrari on that hard tire he's been on since the start of the race. You got to imagine we'll see Rage dive to the pit lane here very shortly. And slap on set mediums, or he's going to push on and try to go to the softs. I got to feel like the medium's a better strategy here for the end of the race, just because you get on that fresher tire sooner. As we got a spinner down in turn 3.
Run the Jules
that is Run the Jules.
Oh, that's unfortunate for Run the Jules. He had a tremendous race so far. Had only lost a few positions throughout, but had worked his way back into a nice points-paying position up there in 9th. So he's trying to make his way back on, falls in behind Big Hairy Jock.
And he's got some wing damage, so he's not going to go anywhere quickly. Sergeant Milk picking up another time penalty. He's just shooting himself in the foot running off track like that.
Yeah, back up top, Rage, I've been watching him. He had been holding the nice 2.5 second gap to Ardell. That's come down dramatically this last lap. As he's going to make a dive for pit lane. He's going to slap on those medium tires you were talking about.
He is. He's going to go for the safe bet here, go for the medium. I feel like the soft's going to drop off too much in those last couple laps. You're not going to be able to do anything. So we got a yellow flag out of turn 9. That is, I believe, Run the Jules. He's again had an issue.
As we see Wrathful into the pits as well. He's going to drop those 13-lap old medium tires and slap on another set. This is going to drop him down the order. A bit of time
and he's serving a time penalty.
Another flag. Oh, yeah, a bit of flag. So big winner so far. TK working his way back up to 5th. Unfortunately, got a bad start, but looks like he's going to salvage a nice finish. Even working for maybe a 4th place finishing position if he just make up some time to give me my pipe, but he's really struggling, it looks like, to do so.
Indeed. His teammate right behind him by about 4 seconds just came out of the pits in front of Anterior Titan on 13-lap old mediums. So Anterior's going to have to stop again. He will not be able to go to the end on those tires. And very crucial for Rage to get out in front of the Haas. He's got clear air up to his teammates, so he can just cruise up behind TK, and those Ferraris can run formation, or they might start fighting. We never know with these guys.
So the packing order, a bit of kind of groups of cars. We got the top 3 grouped together, and then you have to go down a bit of ways, and you got Get Me My Pipe and TK and Rage running kind of together. And then if you go a bit farther down the order, you'll see Interior Titan and kind of leading another group of cars as you see Phantom and Wrathful, the 2 Mercedes drivers leading Big Hairy Jock there.
Speaking of Interior Titan, he just hit the pit lane for his 2nd and final stop in the Haas, so he's going to drop down the order here. Not the night, I'm sure, the man who started on pole, or 2nd actually, would have been looking to have. And he is serving a time penalty. So from bad to worse, on go the mediums, and out he goes, down to P13. So in the top 8, you've got both Red Bulls, both Ferraris, both Mercedes, a Williams, and a McLaren. So teammates, looking very, very crucial tonight, because if your teammates in one place, it appears you're not going to be too far away from them.
Yeah, the only downside to that is the double stack, but we haven't seen that play a factor tonight. We see Big Harry Jock pick up a 3-second time penalty, as does ER10 Motorsport. I'm really just looking to see if Echo, if he can keep a bit of a gap here, just kind of stay behind Ardell. Let me check to see if he has any time penalties. I don't believe he does have one time penalty. But if he just right now can stay within 3 seconds of Ardell, he could possibly pick up the win on penalties.
He could, looking a little bit quicker through that 1-2-3 complex than the Red Bull in front of him, maybe running a little bit more downforce and a little bit cleaner line, as Wrathful sets the new fast lap of the race in P8 on the medium tire in that Mercedes.
Rage now starting to make up some time on TK14, the two Ferrari drivers. Obviously, Rage taking those hard tires from the start of the race until lap 20 or so, or excuse me, lap 22. On the fresh mediums right now, he's starting to make up time on his teammate TK14. You have to wonder, is Ferrari going to employ any sort of team orders, or is he going to slot it behind TK and just get Ferrari the fifth and sixth place position here tonight?
Your guess is as good as mine, I think. I will be more interested to see, because I don't think, does Exia have any penalties at all?
I can double check. I hadn't seen his name pop across. He's a pretty clean driver, only 2 warnings, and that's the same status quo we've known from him tonight. Not finding any trouble with time penalties, so he's still a factor, especially if these drivers in front of him pick up more penalties. Yeah,
exactly. He is definitely a big factor in this race right now, because if the race were to end right now, he would win the race on penalties.
You can see he is struggling, though. He's dropped another 2/10 behind Echo just in that last lap. So Echo is going to want to open up at least a 3-second back to Exia for net first position. And this would drop Ardell down to third, unfortunately.
Yeah, Ardell kind of needs to turn up the wick a little bit. He's got a gap on Echo enough to where he doesn't get DRS on him. So he really needs to just focus on running his line, making clean laps, and just try to get as much as he can, as fast as he can. You know, there are times in life when you want to be fair, and there are times in life when you need to be greedy. This is one of the latter.
As we enter the best part of, we see Run the Jules try to make a move on Like Me or Not, coming down the front stretch. Had a bit of DRS, a little bit of contact there as Like Me or Not squeezes Run the Jules coming into turn number 2. These two drivers, our closest battle on track. I was getting ready to say we were in that part of the Spanish Grand Prix where the gaps have opened up, and we've seen Dirty Air take its toll on the drivers as far as gaps and close racing goes. See Sergeant Milk pick up a 3-second time penalty. These guys
we really saw it on camera there. He just banged it over the chicane curbs on both sides of it, so picked up 2 warnings, probably in the space of 2 corners there.
Yeah, these guys really need to keep it clean. Can have a downside effect to your finishing order, as we are seeing that already even with the top guys. So we see Like Me or Not continue to open up a bit of a gap to Run the Jules through Sector 3. Making their way through the downhill right-hander into the chicane. Is Run the Jules going to be able to get a run? Doesn't get a good run and exit out of there, but he's on the overtake button. He's going to have DRS on Like Me or Not.
Whoa! Echo getting a big old slide on through the exit of turn 12. That's going to lose him a little bit of time to Ardell in front. The gap now up to 2.3. Gap behind down to 3.4.
Run the Jules takes a quick look up the inside, decides against it. It would have been a late move, and he would have had to have sent it in there pretty deep. It's going to be a battle I'm going to keep my eye on as we see Test Science pick up a 3-second.
Yeah, Test Science had a really quiet, unfortunate race towards the back there. Not really a night to remember for the second of the Williams drivers. Only ahead of Formula Rager, Broken Reptile, Like Me or Not, and Run the Jules, 4 drivers who have had significant problems in this race.
So we see Ardell continue to open up the gap to the McLaren driver of Echo. Echo's still placing himself within that 3-second gap, but he's at risk now of falling outside of that. We'll have to make up quite a bit of time in the later stages of this race at Ardell's current pace.
Indeed, I think Ardell saw him make that move, saw that gap jump up on his screen, and is like, okay, now I gotta go. Now I gotta pull it out, and I gotta get that extra few tenths that I need. Because once I do that, there's nothing he can do.
As we see UFR Rage, the two Ferrari drivers a couple laps ago, Rage making up quite a bit of time. He finds himself within 1 second of TK. The two teammates here looking to duke it out. Potential team orders, we do not know. Your guess is as good as ours up here in the booth tonight. Rage getting a nice run downhill into the chicane. Can take a bit of curve there. Is he going to impact his exit? Does not look like it. He's going to have DRS. But not on the overtake button. So looking like Rage just going to settle in this lap behind TK.
Yeah, possibly wanting to just charge up that ERS a little bit. It's kind of hard to recharge the battery around here just because of how much it's being used through that second sector. So maybe
Rage,
just staying off the button a little bit gets you the extra, 10, 12, 15% you might need to really make an overtake happen. So smart move on Rage's part there. Just kind of sit back a little bit from his teammate. Use that DRS to kind of ride up on him slowly instead of all at once. And then once he gets up to the back of him, really just dump everything he's got and make the move stick. That's kind of what you have to do in these cars that I have found. That seems to be the way to make passes.
Yeah, no sense in wasting your ERS when you've compromised your exit by taking too much of the chicane curves, which will unsettle the car here as we see Rage closing back up on TK and the two Ferrari drivers on the opposite strategies here.
Oh! Looks like ER10 and possibly Test.
Oh, and TK loses it. TK's lost it, gets on that curb. He's going to rejoin back on the track. He's not going to lose any other places, but he's going to have Phantom behind him and Wrathful, who's on fresh mediums, pushing up to the back of the Ferrari there.
Well, that's going to give Rage some clear air up to the next car as Exia dives into the pits. Exia dives to the soft.
Wow. So not able to take the hard tire until the end of the race. Interesting decision on his end, but he's going to go on that soft tire. See where he slots back in. I don't think he's going to lose the place of Big Carry Shock. Ouch. Not good, not good.
No. Drop from 3rd to 9th there. That's a big drop in position. I honestly think he would have been better off just trying to ride out those last few laps and trying to nurse those hards home.
Ardell at risk of picking up another time penalty. He's right on the fringe there. Echo still sitting on 3 seconds with that gap now. Larger than 3 seconds. Echo would need to make up, it looks like at least 2.5, 3 tenths to keep himself in contention for the win here tonight on penalty place, or penalty, time penalties alone.
Indeed, everything getting very interesting here towards the end of the race. Can Ardell, from starting P14, win this race? Or will it be Echo closing it down? The gap's still widening just a little bit, a few more tenths here in the first part of this lap, up to 3.5 seconds. So if he keeps this up, he may even get himself a little bit more cushion.
Yeah, big winners tonight. Definitely Ardell up 13 places. Rage making that hard to medium strategy work for him, up 6 places, as is Phantom. So those are going to be our big winners tonight. And our biggest loser is going to be Interior Titan. We talked about him. He had the spin and then had to make an extra stop. So not coming together for Interior Titan, who led this race and started up towards the front.
And speaking of guys who have led this race up towards the front, BRL Exia also with the 2-stop strategy just came out on that soft tire, so we'll see what he can do. He's got Wrathful, Phantom, and TK all relatively close, but he really needs to start making inroads on them quickly with only 4 laps to go this time by. Currently about 3 seconds back of the nearest car in front of him, which is Wrathful. So down 7 positions from that lofty pole position where he started in the other Red Bull.
Question why he stopped so soon on the soft tire. Obviously struggling for tire wear in that Red Bull tonight. That's going to come down to setup, unfortunately. Maybe a bit of driving style, but Exia, I'm with you. Maybe you could have made it work if you just hung in there. Could have picked up at least a decent place finish, but now he finds himself down in 8th place position right now.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing you got to do. Is if you go for the track position in qualifying because you don't have the pace on the mediums to get inside the top 10 decently high, like 5th, 6th place, then you're really just going to have to suffer through it to about lap 9 or 10 to really make it work on that hard tire. Unfortunately, that soft tire is just not quick enough for long enough to really make a dent in the guys in front.
Yeah, he finds himself down 2.5 seconds. Even so, you still have Raffle on fairly, I would say, fresh mediums. Maybe not 8 laps old. They're probably halfway through their lap span right now. He's made up half a second so far, but even then, he's still looking to have to make the move. Catching him is one thing, making a pass is another.
Exactly. It's kind of why if you can avoid getting behind somebody, you're usually better off for it. So the safer strategy tends to work out a little bit better for you than the aggressive strategy.
Ardell still sitting up in first place with 2 time penalties of 3 seconds apiece. He now has almost a little bit over a 4-second gap down to Echo, who's now still sitting on 1 penalty right now, but is at risk for picking up a second one. And then Give Me My Pipe, Dark Horse. We didn't really talk about him much in qualifying. He's had a pretty quiet race, sitting back there in 3rd place with Rage, who's had a tremendous race himself, sitting in 4th place.
Indeed, and oh, what could have possibly been for TK had he not gotten shoved off the track at turn 2 on lap 1. The man was up into a possible 2nd to 4th place off the start on the hard tire, or on the medium tire, and just has been fighting back from that ever since. Made another mistake and spun around a little bit, so a little bit self-inflicted later on down the line, but oh, what could have been.
Yeah, unfortunate for TK. Like I said, I'd spoken to him earlier over the weekend, and he was just looking for a solid finish tonight. He's still going to get that, but I got to imagine the Ferrari driver a little bit disappointed in his performance tonight. Definitely could have found himself on the podium steps with the guys up front had he not made that mistake.
Indeed. Looking at this man right here, UFR Ardell, we've been watching him for just a minute. Just leading the race. Echo has closed down that gap to 4 seconds, so a couple of tenths back the other way for the top 2 now. A little bit closer, but it's not going to be enough unless he can really pick up the pace in 2nd.
Axia now working his way back up to the gearbox of Rathful. Rathful sitting on 50% or so of ERS. Axia has drained his battery, sitting on just 10%. Thought he was going to make a move into turn 1, didn't quite decide to do it. He's going to want to make this move on Rathful as quick as possible, as those soft tires will die off in the dirty air behind Rathful. And then he's going to want to work his way back up to Phantom. But looking like a tough order for the Red Bull driver to make it past the 2 Mercedes drivers here with only a lap and a half or so left to go. As we see Echo pick up a 3-second time penalty. So that's going to definitely drop him out of contention for the race win.
Indeed. Unfortunately, that's going to make it just level all at the front. So Echo currently 4.4 seconds behind. That is where he will stay. Looking at Exia here as he comes onto the front straightaway behind Rathful, going to get the DRS, and he's going to go for the move. Going to have this done well before turn 1 ever gets there. Good move from the Red Bull driver to pick up a place here towards the end.
Phantom with a bit of time penalties. Exia should jump him there alone, which would move Exia up to net 6. Likely that he could possibly pick up P5 from TK, who TK has a bit of penalties as well. So that should be interesting to see how that plays out for 5th down through 8th finishing positions here tonight.
Indeed, he's rapidly closing up on those 2 cars in front of him here on the final lap. We're going to jump up to the front here because off of the final corner, here comes UFR Ardell, sweeps to the inside of the track, a little wiggle from 14th to 1st. UFR Ardell wins in Spain for Tier 4. Echo's going to come home P2 in the McLaren. Get Me My Pipe in the Williams. Going to come home 3rd here on the podium. Your dark horse, certainly ran away with it a little bit in that respect. UFR Rage with the opposite strategy, going to come home in 4th place. Good night for him. TK, oh, what could have been for TK? Going to pick up P5 here. Phantom Eggsy is going to get P5 on, and TK is going to drop 2 more spots to 7th. Big Hairy Jock comes home in 8th after a couple of problems. Phantom in 9th. Anterior Titan from 2nd to 10th. Big problems for him. P10 to finish out the night. And Sergeant Milk loses that spot to Anterior Titan on a massive amount of penalties that he had. A little farther down, Formula Rager.
Rager makes his way back. Oh, almost loses it there, but he's making his way through the penultimate corner. He's going to cross the line in P12. Broken Reptile. Kind of the tale of 2 dragons, if you will. Broken Reptile not having the finish that his teammate did. He's going to jump Rager on time penalties. We see Run the Jewels and Like Me or Not, who've been battling through the second half of this race. Run the Jewels looks to keep that spot there. He's going to finish down there in 14th with Like Me or Not coming across the line in 15th. And we did see the Alpha driver and the other Williams driver finish a lap down to close out the running order.
Not surprising. Not surprising right there, the game saying that UFR Ardell is the driver of the day. I gotta agree with it. I mean, from 14th on the grid to P1 at the end, UFR Ardell is my driver of the day.
Ardell stamping his dominance on his championship run, showing his hand here that, hey, I can face adversity, I can work my way back up through the field if needed. I'm going to pick up a win regardless of my starting position. He's going to be a contender and a tough guy to beat as we make our way into the European Championship races here. I've got to give it to Ardell for keeping it clean and coming out the first place winner. Echo, my guy in the McLaren, finishing P2 and getting me my pipe. Coming across for Williams on the podium for P3.
Alrighty, Saxman. Well, I've had a bit of a crazy day, so I'm going to let you handle the podium interviews for these guys tonight. Fastest lap of the race going to Broken Reptile down there in P12. Will not pick up that extra point for the fastest lap due to being outside the top 10. Fastest lap inside the top 10 belongs to BRL Eggsy at a 118.0. And just, wow. From 14th to 1st, UFR Ardell. That's quite impressive. I haven't seen a whole lot of people be able to pull that kind of a rise off in the race.
As we're just waiting on Get Me My Pipe to join, we have our podium finishers of Ardell in here. Echo, if you guys could, please make sure to include your audio. Let's see if we can get Me My Pipe. He finished P3. I'll hang tight here. We're in the loading screen. To kick things off, let's start with UFR Ardell, man. What a tremendous masterclass performance by you tonight. You started down the order, had an unfortunate incident there, it looked like, with test signs in the last seconds of quali. Were you nervous at all? Tell us a little bit about your race and what kind of went through your mind as you were just trying to keep it clean and make your way up the order to get a good result. It almost looked like damage mitigation, but you came out with a win, which is just a tremendous dominating performance by you tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It was more like I was more angry than anything because I couldn't really go anywhere in that instance. Because if I were to move to the right, then I wouldn't have enough speed to actually get a lap in. So yeah, after that, it was pretty much try to get the best start off the line, and then after that, just hope a miracle happened at that point, and it did.
Awesome, man. Well, I mean, Ferrari Nut and I talked about it all night long. You just seem to just make your way slowly and steadily, battle that frustration of kind of getting caught up there in quali. So tremendous finish on your end. Are you looking forward to next week?
Next week is Monaco.
Big boy track.
Yeah, I'll be happy if I finish that race.
All right. Well, you have a bit of a championship lead over second place now. You redeemed yourself from last week with the incident there. Congratulations on P1 tonight, sir. You have maxed out your points of 25 points. Let's take it down to P2. Echo, you were my guy to watch tonight. at least the duo of the McLaren drivers, you and your teammate Reptile. Reptile not finishing like he had hoped, or at least where you finished. Tell us a bit about your race. You kind of kept yourself out of trouble. You stuck your nose in there with Ardell. Unfortunately, you weren't able to keep the penalties from racking up, and then just lost a bit of time to Ardell there in the later stages of the race. Tell us about kind of what was going through your mind as you were working your way up through the field there.
Doing in sector 3, when I kept losing the back end, I knew I was getting frustrated that I wasn't catching him, because I know I was low on ERS, so I was working with that, and I was managing my fuel at the same time. So it was a struggle for me a little bit. Just gotta work on that. But overall, getting through the field, it was pretty alright. I'm pretty satisfied with my pace today.
Showing some nice, consistent lap times, keeping yourself out of trouble. You're showing that you can be a contender here for the top finishing positions in the championship. Are you looking forward to Monaco, or are you going to be one of those drivers that just wants to get out with as minimal impact to your championship standings with as little damage as possible?
Monaco, yeah, I do want to make sure I finish the race, but it's going to be one of those tracks that's going to really separate the group. It's going to be one of those tracks that's going to separate like the top runners from people like that's in the midfield, because it's going to be who can keep it consistent, who can keep it off the walls, and who can pick up the pace and keep it straight and not, messing up anybody else's line. So Monaco's going to be interesting.
Monaco always posing a challenge for our drivers here. Unable to get me my pipe in. Thank you, Echo. Look forward to seeing your performance next week, but unable to get me my pipe in. Oh, there you go. All right, well, tell us. We got Sergeant Milk in here filling in for Get Me My Pipe. Did you get to talk to the Williams driver at all about his P3 finish?
No, I just joined.
I know.
wanted to
Well,
talk.
hey, Get Me My Pipe, unable to join us, but strong performance by the Williams driver as well. A bit of redemption on his end after last week's collision with Ardell at the Netherlands. But these guys looking to take the fight to track next week at Monaco. This is Breakout Racing League. This is our Tier 4 group of drivers, and I'm going to turn it back over to Ferrari Nut to close this out, but want to congratulate you guys on a nice finish and a nice race tonight.
All right, thank you, Saxman, for conducting the podium interviews tonight with our top 3 drivers. This has been Ferrari Net 94, aka BRL Williams, with Saxman 24 for BRL Tier 4 from Spain. Thank you very much tonight, and we'll see y'all next week in Monaco for the big one. This next one's the big one, the one everybody wants to win. The glitz, the glamour, the glitterati everywhere. We'll see you in 7 days' time. Good night.